Oh hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be another wrap-up video. If you saw my last wrap-up, you will know that I've decided to take away monthly TBRs and instead do a wrap-up after every 4 books that I've read. So my first wrap-up dealt with books 1 through 4 that I have read this year, and this one is simply going to be about books 5 through 8. It's very, very simple. I'm sure you've got it. Thanks in some part to the fact that I am unemployed at the moment, I'm definitely getting off to a good reading year in 2017. I think I'm already up to about 12 books, so I'm actually already falling behind on these wrap-ups. So let's just catch up, shall we? The 5th book I read in 2017 was The Night Guest by Fiona McFarlane. Wow, things are getting very bright here, and I look like an angel. This book deals with an old lady character by the name of Ruth who lives by herself in an island off the coast of New South Wales. Now sadly for Ruth, she is slipping into the beginnings of dementia, and she is routinely waking up in the middle of the night to this belief that there is a tiger in her living room, which is the reason for this lovely cover. Just flash that again because it's so great. Yes, as Ruth starts to realise that she is going to need help, a woman turns up called Frida who says she is from the government, and we the reader instantly go, did Ruth call for this woman? Because she just sort of appears. Frida raises some question marks. This novel is sort of half thriller and half drama, and that's sort of the reason I found it hard to rate originally, because I think the drama part works excellently, the writing is very fluid, we sort of delve into the dynamic between Ruth and Frida, and we also get flashbacks to when Ruth was very young and living in Fiji and experiencing romance for the very first time. There are even scenes in this book where I think the character's about 70, and she calls up this man that she used to date when she was 16, and they have a sort of 70-year-old date night, including a sex scene where Ruth lays down some pillows so she doesn't hurt her back. I found that quite hilarious, and also so sweet in a way. But I do think that the thriller aspect was a little bit more, not disappointing for me because I definitely enjoyed it, but at the same time, it's very predictable, and when rating this I sort of struggled with that idea that because it's a thriller, it needs to do something surprising, which it really doesn't. But I did find the outcome to be very obvious, but at the same time it fit with the story, so I've just decided to say that the book was good as a whole. In the end, despite the expected outcome, I ended up giving this 4 stars, and I would recommend it. Then the 6th book I read in 2017 was A Natural History of Dragons, a memoir by Lady Trent by Marie Brennan. Before I'd speed through that very long title, if I was to describe this, I would sort of call this fluffy historical fiction. It's definitely not deep, but I think what it sets out to do, it does very well. The novel starts with our character of Lady Trent. I think she's about 10, as she develops this love of dragons and wants to know more about them. But because she lives in Victorian times, all the men are just like, no, 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 you are a lady. You will make tea and, you know, gossip and be frivolous. And then the rest of the novel is basically about her saying, no, I want to study dragons and I will do it, damn it. And then going on to be the most famous dragon expert in the world. It's told in fictionalized memoir style, so we basically get introduced to Lady Trent when she is in old age and she's had her adventures, and this is her looking back on them. This details her first expedition and the first time she encounters dragons, and overall I found it really enjoyable. I think the character of Lady Trent is very well done. She's just this sort of kick-ass heroine, always underappreciated and undervalued by the men in her group, and she basically just says, fuck the patriarchy, I can do a better job than all of you. Overall, I really enjoyed this. It is definitely more of a light read, and it's not really too fantasy, it is more about the study of dragons. It was just very fun. In the end, I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars, and I picked up the sequel, The Tropics of Serpents, to read very soon. Then the 7th book I read in 2017 was The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This one basically deals with a woman called Rosemary who joins a ship called the Wayfarer, and this book is basically just about her getting to know the crew and going on little mini adventures that really don't add up to much. I've seen criticism levelled against this book that not a lot happens, and I will say that is true, but at the same time, I for one definitely didn't care about that. If I could connect this book in any way to something that's already out, it would weirdly be the TV show Firefly, because it's more about the crew as a whole and as a group getting to know each other than about action. Obviously there are some action parts, but it's definitely just more of a novel about emerging friendships. As someone who doesn't read a lot of science fiction, I found this to be a very, very easy read. There are a lot of different species of alien in this book, There are a lot of different planets and cultures, but it goes into these things in really great depth that you can't help but feel fully immersed in the world. This book, being science fiction, of course, is also incredibly diverse. There are lots of different alien races. There is a human to lizard-style alien lesbian romance. We also have a straight romance between a human and alien, a romance between a human and a sentient AI. I mean, if you can think of an unconventional relationship, Becky's definitely got you covered. Again, this is another one that I love so much, I instantly went out and picked up the sequel, A Closed and Common Orbit, and I can't wait to experience more of this author's world that she has created. I think she's doing more sidequels, which is interesting. Definitely a switch up to just sequel after sequel. But yes, I definitely enjoyed this one, and if you're looking for a sci-fi read, and especially if you want a science fiction read that is not incredibly technical and all about, you know, technology and things like that, you will definitely enjoy this one. I did give it 5 stars after all. And then the 8th book I read in 2017 was my first read that I read for the Diversathon, and that was A Home at the End of the World by Michael Cunningham. And while this is a multiple perspective book, it basically follows the lives of 2 characters, one a gay male called Jonathan and the other a sort of wishy-washy character under the name of Bobby, as they sort of start friendship/relationship in their teens, and then what happens as they grow older. I feel like I've talked about all these books in very recent videos. Books are recent buys, recent reads, and all books that are included in a TBR, so I apologise if you're fed up of hearing about these ones. Overall, I found this to be a hugely introspective read. It's definitely not plot focused, it's more about spending time in our characters' heads and seeing where they're at emotionally. We start off the book with perspectives from our 2 main characters and also Jonathan's mother, as she starts to see this burgeoning relationship between her son and his friend. And she also wants to be the cool mom. She's trying to listen to music with them and smoke joints, and I definitely loved the dynamic between those 3 main characters. Obviously the mother is not so thrilled about her son being gay, so she takes an instant disliking to this Bobby character. But as the novel goes on, you see how their relationship changes, and I really appreciated that. For the second half of the novel, though, they introduce this other woman called Claire, who sort of takes over the mum's perspective, and I definitely didn't enjoy her as a character as much. The book sort of kept jumping into the future, and I was like, no, 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 I want to stay in the past. I liked it there. Overall, Michael Cunningham's writing is really, really great. It's very, like I said, introspective and well thought out, and I feel like he really knows his characters and is able to express them in a way that really makes you feel like you've gotten to know them. I remember at one point I looked down at the page count and found that I was on page 60, but I already felt that I knew these characters so well. If there are any negatives about this book, I will say that it was written in the early 90s, just after the emergence of AIDS, so it was a hot topic at the time, and obviously an important one. But there is a character that one of our main characters dates about halfway through. He doesn't date him for very long, and he's not really a huge part of the book, but come the end he gets reintroduced, and it turns out that he has AIDS, and I sort of felt the book turned into more about the issue than as opposed to the characters. Spent a lot of time focused on this character with AIDS, and we really should have spent time focusing on the dynamic between our 2 main characters and how their friendship and relationship ended. Overall though, I definitely enjoyed it, and I will check out more works by Michael Cunningham very soon. I gave this one 3.5 stars. And if it sounds interesting to you, I would definitely check it out. I'm going to finish this very quickly because I can see the red light blinking right here in my camera telling me that it's about to run out of battery. So that was my wrap up. I'm going to do another one very soon focusing on books 9 to 12 that I read in 2017. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this video because I will be back with another one soon. Bye!